Yesterday I started my 90 minutes of promos with a fart. Right before I went into my promos, I held this microphone up to my rectum and let a fart go. And when I was uploading the video, I thought, ooh, I should take that out. And I did. And I think that's a great emblem and a great place to start where I want to explore today. I want to talk about fear. My fears. My biggest fears. That fart. Why didn't I include it? Well, it was funny. It was subtle. Farts are just inherently funny. Maybe even the birth of comedy for the human race. And yet, just didn't feel... No, it did feel scary to put it in because I've had this theme throughout my whole kind of public artist career, public-facing artist career, which is a fear of being funny. Maybe farts are too hacky. Maybe farts aren't the type of comedy that I want to bring into my, let's call it a music persona, when it's not that much of a persona, is it? It's pretty much just me. So I guess I should tell a story of me performing at Lanaloo's in front of 25, 35 people. And I'm doing all my songs. If memory serves, I had 16 songs that night. 15 of which were deep, introspective Powys songs, very fast rapping, very powerful delivery, type of stuff that was, I believe we can make change. I don't mean Instagram mentions. I want to ease social tensions, that type of stuff. And then I did a comedy song. And it was a song with a very explicit subject matter. Very 18 plus comedy song. And everybody laughed. They howled. Isn't that why we're here? To make the audience howl and scream and be so excited? Then they started chanting the name of the song. Run it back, run it back, run it back. I'm looking at the DJ like, if they're chanting, we gotta run it. Kids, if they're chanting, you don't have to run it. As an artist, you have so little control over your offerings, over how you're perceived, all that stuff. Once you make a song and you put that song out, it's almost not yours anymore. You might make a song that you think is so obvious. Well, I made a song called Truth, which is about how I was promised so many revelations. I heard that, the big change was coming and that being a good-hearted leftist would prevail, and it hasn't yet. So what's going on? That's what I think the song's about. And then I put it out and someone tells me, oh, this feels like a breakup song. Does it? To me, it does not. That point is about the lack of control you have over your offerings. What you do have control over is when you perform. So if you're a musician or maybe you have some sort of offering, let's call it an artistic offering. Maybe you're a comedian, musician, or a dancer. And someone finds out about this. Maybe you're at your place of work. They don't really know much about your background. And then they say, oh, you're a singer. What are they going to say? You're a singer? Fill in the blank. You're a singer? Sing something for us. You're a rapper? Freestyle. You're a dancer? Let's see that two-step. Maybe an artist who has that fire in their heart and says, I've got a shot, I'm going to take it, is going to take every single chance. That's okay. But sometimes you can make them want it. Sometimes you can make them wait. And oftentimes I've found, it's like, rap for us. Nah, not here. Oh, whatever, is the response I'll get. And it's like, well, great. Very glad I didn't bust out these well-honed, deeply thought-out musings for someone to just dismiss them. But we're talking about farts here, and we're talking about fear. And we're talking about what is the root of this fear. Well, they're chanting for this song. I run the song back, but on the second time, I did this explicit joke song. Everyone reached into their pocket, took out their phones, and started recording. What a lot of people might be stoked about these days. A lot of artists want you to take out your phone, record me, comment, like, subscribe, share, post. Come on. Valid. Except this was really the only song they did it for. You know? That's when it starts to sting a bit. What about all my introspective songs? What about all the social change? What about all of my learnings that I'm putting into a 3-minute song? I've read, at that point, 6 books, and I'm putting them, all of the teachings, into these lyrics. And you take your phone out for the comedy track? That's haunted me. That's haunted me. It's hard to say I regret it. It's hard to say I have any regrets, because of course that moment taught me to have a little bit more mindfulness and a little bit more control over what I put out and how. The fear. I saw an Instagram post with Pharrell Williams saying, write down all your greatest fears and insecurities on a piece of paper, and then realize that they're all distractions. And they are. And I can't help but have fear when I've seen basically my greatest fear realized, which is the case of a Netflix show from a few years ago, which you might have gotten on the zeitgeist of, but you might forget. Baby Reindeer. This dude that made the show, starred in the show, the protagonist of the show, is the writer, and all the stuff happened to him based on a true story. This human bears his soul completely and hardly filtered. And everyone reacts. What is this incredible show? That's the cost of getting in the building. You have to give your all. You can't hold back. So he gave his all. He showed us his everything. He showed us his traumatic past. In the near past, this isn't some childhood stuff. He is a grown adult. Ugh. Still whinge thinking about it. Cringe thinking about it. Why? Because he put his truth out there, and people in the real world, outside of the fictional, semi-fictional story he told, start headhunting all the villains of his project, of his story. So he was the protagonist, and he's basically getting stalked by this pretty mentally unstable woman. And he details that she came to him on Twitter and told me all this stuff on Twitter and spoke like this and typed in incoherent ways. And then, of course, the internet, doing its thing, found a woman who messaged this person and tweeted at him in the exact way that he described in the show. Dude, it's like Pretty close. It's very likely her. So he put his story out there, and I don't want to spoil too much about Baby Reindeer, but there's also some other people that do some atrocious things to this guy. And everyone's going through his IMDb trying to find who could it have been that did these atrocious things. And they start flaming everyone that he used to work with. And I'm watching that like, oh my gosh. And will he always be known as the Baby Reindeer guy? Not necessarily. He's got a long life ahead. The attention span of the people, if somebody came to me, this is how I like to think about giving myself advice. If someone came to me and asked for advice, what would I say? If someone came to me and said, hey, I've got something in me, it's either a funny idea or a general spark or whatever it may be. You think I should sit on it or use it? I'm going to say use it. Of course. You have to use every part of you to even get a ticket for the lottery. You don't get to say like, oh, well, this one small part of me is pretty cool. I'm going to use that. I'm pretty introspective and academic, so that should be enough to get me over, which is a wrestling term for get popular. That should be enough to get me over as an artist. To use my intellect, man. I'm so intellectual. I got a bachelor's degree, bro. Really? You have to absolutely send it. But then there's the Baby Reindeers of the world that might make you think, it's this worst case scenario. But the dude who made it, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, has a lot of success, might have a chance to make something more, might never have to make anything again, depending on how the pay structure was set up. Might not have to make anything as vulnerable. I mean, it's kind of his chief story as far as I know. And there's examples to the contrary as well. I'm a wrestling fan. Well, there was a wrestler named Natalia. There is a wrestler named Natalia. She's still active. And one of her storylines was that she farted all the time. She had gas. She couldn't keep it in. And despite having this on national television, international television, across the internet, on one of the biggest subscribed YouTube channels. I mean, this was kind of 2012, so I'm not sure the WWE YouTube channel is quite where it is now, but you get the idea. WWE has been a media juggernaut for my entire lifetime, and here's this woman on WWE programming farting week in, week out. Lasted for a couple months and they pulled the plug on it, but despite this very embarrassing thing, Natalia is still considered one of the greats, a very serious performer, an incredible pro wrestler, it should be said. So how does that translate to me and my fears? What am I afraid of? I'm afraid that if I post a video of me farting, what? I'm going to have to go to the team I coach or go to the classroom of kids and maybe they saw it. Probably they didn't, but maybe they do. And then I have to face that confrontation, if you will. But that is the great war of being an artist. Whitney Euland is a fame coach on Instagram, and TikTok is where I found her. I don't remember which one, but she talks about fame is a spiritual practice and basically says you will not achieve any higher level than your subconscious is ready for. So are you really ready to be seen? Are you ready to be scrutinized? And I think these types of videos I'm doing are a practice of me getting there. And, I showed my girl my video of me farting, and she's like, dude, why didn't you post that? I'm like, well, then I'll be the silly. It's so silly. And I'm silly. I don't know if you could tell. I've got 13 foam mushrooms in my hair. My place is a mess. I'm silly. So why hide? If you bury your authentic self, suddenly you're in a situation where people know so much about you. They know a lot about you. And it's like, yeah, sure, it's a character and it's me turned up to 11. It was pretty much me here. It's pretty much me. And I'm proud of me and I love me. And when I'm with my close friends or even just one layer beyond their buddies, I'm able to be fully me and crack jokes and say hilarious things. Sometimes they're explicit, and maybe I don't want to bring like super explicit stuff into my character's portrayal. But even that, I don't know if you noticed, but my voice got a little pinched. Because it's a bit scary to think about holding back. Where so many people on this earth are giving their all. How can you be in the same arena if you're not? And we can acknowledge that there's varying levels of ethics about it. Maybe they have a misogynistic take that they crank to, 11, and that's what makes them pop off. All these young boys that, were told by girls in their grade that they don't want to dance get to come home and read what these guys are saying about girls, about all these terrible names, and agree, oh yeah. Sadie Hawkins, I hated her, yeah. She's just like this guy describes. Kind of giving them whatever. Okay, maybe it's not ethical, but are they going their hardest? The people with the Ray-Ban glasses on who are pranking people, not good pranks either. Not painless pranks. Like, hey, can you help me with this? And then, push them over or put like pie in their face. Like, that's not a good prank. But the degree that you have to kind of put yourself out there, these streamers that have seen, Kai Cenat and Speed scream at the top of their lungs and get popular that way. And they're like, it worked for these guys. They're making all these millions month after month. I'm going to go and come out of my skin. Ah! Is it great? Is it amazing content? For the most part, it's not. Speed's pretty sick and puts out a lot of great content that I personally like. So I'm not saying that Speed is bad for the kids. I don't think Speed is bad for the kids. But even in Speed's glow up, think about all the stuff he did. He did a bunch of kind of out-of-pocket things that we don't need to drag up into the light. Not that these 4 viewers on this video are going to be so moved by my take on I Show Speed. But the point is, you go too far, you find out what's too far, and you can educate. Yeah, you can get away with it as an 18-year-old. I'm not 18. Fear. What about love? What's the opposite? Love. Think about who I could attract by being my full authentic self. I've met a bunch of people, from the middle of America, from my hometown of Vancouver, from the other coast, who have inauthentic portrayals of themselves. I see their Instagram self very different than their real self. Maybe their Instagram self is very moody and sad, and I'm emo, and I don't want anyone to look at me and look how thick my eyeliner is. And then in reality, they're happy and bubbly, kind, warm. I'm like, whoa, that's a departure. Or the other side, online, they're very, the world is my oyster. Everything I do is perfect. Everything I do is amazing. Then you see them in the flesh and they're like, I can't stand my life anymore. I hate my life. I hate my life. Yeah. I wonder if they're at their ceilings as well. The thing is, I don't know if you can even get away with the up and down. I think you have to have a consistent portrayal. You could be real, but you have to be consistent in order to fully pop off. Am I wrong? I don't know if I'm right. I don't know what I'm right about. All I know is I'm trying to chase that point where I'm allowed to be seen. Where I allow myself to be seen, where I can stop projecting. Like all my friends that told me that I haven't hit my potential. Thanks, by the way, folks. Tell me about your own potential. We're all projecting here. And what do I want? I want to be able to make the beautiful art that I want. I'm an amazing lyricist, an amazing performer, and I'm like a very passable producer. And I haven't been able to foster my relationships with fellow producers. I guess I can call them fellows now. With fellow producers, because I've had this vision, I've had this chip on my shoulder that a lot of young rappers do, where it's like, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna rap quick, you're gonna mix it, master it, and send it tonight. Come on. Only when you actually do the production can you start to see, okay, maybe I was being a bit rude. My fears. What are my fears? What if my worst fears come true? What if I make a comedy album? And I don't mean stand up. I mean a song and then it's funny. The song is funny. And I'm walking down the street and someone's like, oh my gosh, it's the funny guy, Funny McGee. Hasn't that been my whole life anyway? What am I really scared of? I feel like I'm really scared of being seen. And what's that holding me back from? My fear of being seen is holding me back from having more connections and more ability to create the projects that I want. When you accrue, when you accumulate, when you get the resource of fame, more people are willing to work with you, more people are willing to trust your vision because your vision got you this far. So if I'm out here saying, universe, I want to make a musical about my life, what is that going to entail? Am I going to make a musical about my life, but all the introspective, moody stuff? Think about being an artist and think about being an artist's friend. My homies and I, when we're hanging out, they might be thinking anything here could be subject to end up in a song. And guess what? It is. Anytime we're having a talk, anytime we do something cool, it might end up in a song of mine. I might not name somebody out of respect, and I also might out of respect. But how does that apply to life in general? I guess in the baby reindeer example, Buddy just wrote this thing that was about his life and published it, and the offender in his story just had to deal with the consequences. She goes on Good Morning America, plays the role perfectly, looks exactly like the person from the show and says, it's not me, it can't be me, it's not me. Richard, I think, was the name of the protagonist. Anyway, some of my fears lie rooted in respecting my friends. I have to tell this story, but I did this debaucherous thing, and it's okay for me to say that I did this debaucherous thing, but that person was there too. Do I just make them anonymous? Do I give them a name? I'm still figuring all of this out. I've written hundreds of songs. I'm still figuring all of this out. I tell stories about my childhood. My brothers get on me. It wasn't like that. Come on, really? Bro, I'm not saying that I was, gold medalist at the Trauma Olympics. I'm talking about lunch. I'm getting flamed. These are the risks you have to take as an artist. I don't really care about the public's perception of me in that way, but I do care about the people that are close to me who I respect their opinions. If someone's listened to a lot of music and they listen to mine and say, this song gets boring, I'll believe it. If someone's performed a lot and says, Powis, in your performance, there's not enough crowd participation, I'll believe it. If someone has performed a lot but hasn't listened to a lot of music and tells me my music's no good, I won't believe it. If someone has listened to a lot of music but hasn't performed a lot and tells me my performance is no good, I'm not going to believe it. Simple rules to live by. Broken clocks can be right, but by all means, listen to the people that have experience. What do I have to gain from getting rid of fear? What can my life look like without having fear? Freedom. It can look like when I'm typing, when I'm writing, when I'm getting an idea down, not stopping and staying in that perennial flow state and just flying. That's what all the greats do. They're just hyper present. You might have an opinion about Bill Burr after the Saudi Comedy Fest, sure. But that man, if you listen to the Monday Morning Podcast, can just go and go and go and go because he doesn't give a bleep. His wife loves him. He's paid. He's a good father. Who cares what these people say? Sure, he's gone backwards on his whole, the working class man. I can't believe Beyonce did all these billions. Great. We get it. But still, constant flow state, no interruption. Whereas even me in this conversation I'm having with myself, sometimes I sputter and stutter because there's things I don't want to say. There's things I'm not ready to say. I watched an Instagram reel about this dude, and he's writing a song. He's a dude in overalls in a field, and he's singing the song about how one time he had to tell his girlfriend that he thought he was attracted to a guy. And of course the comments are, you couldn't waterboard this information out of me, type stuff. This human being has laid his soul out on the table. And amidst the ridicule, has probably got his most poppin' reel and his most popular song. Why? Because he bore his most dirty and scary truth. Not that liking a guy is dirty. But putting yourself out there is certainly scary. And opening a part of you up is certainly scary. Okay? How many people do you know that do that? How many details do you know about people and you think, yeah, like that you couldn't get from a phone call? How, like the point I'm trying to make, if you call somebody, a close friend, they'll give you the business. They might not have a blog post. They might not have an Instagram post about it. They might not give a life update unless dog dies, parent dies, marriage, or buy a house. That's just how it is. And then you might have people who are saying too much. Oh my gosh, they're on the internet showing me some very intimate things. This is too much. I don't need to know about how you feel about this. I don't want to know how you feel about this. This is the delicate balance we have to walk. And as an artist, the war is to allow myself to be myself. And I think we're getting closer. Being prolific is a way to get there. Just keep writing and doing inches at a time. I had one artist friend who was telling me about having alter egos. So this lady friend of mine was saying, I can't say all my stuff that I want to say in public, so I write it down in poems. I make songs that I'll never publish. And then she said that making those songs started to inform her public persona. And she was able to kind of find the middle ground. So suffocating that part of you, that's not the way. Give it an outlet. My therapist told me, and a good friend of mine, both recommended something called parts work. There's parts of you, and each one needs to find their voice. What do you stand to benefit from engaging in parts work? Well, I've only done a little, so I don't know if I'm an absolute expert. But I know that if you free part of you, it's not gnawing at the cage, wanting to get out every time you have a conversation with someone. It's not shaking the bars, let me free, let me free. No. If you let it get some air, if you let it get a walk, all right, maybe I don't need to snap on anyone right now. That's the beauty of parts work. So if there's a part of you that might be an athlete who's repressed, and then you guys are all hanging out, sitting around watching TV, and you're thinking, I don't want to sit down. I want to do push-ups. And then you start doing push-ups in the corner. Do them on your own time. Let that part of you have its moment. So it doesn't have to infringe on the hangout. Everyone wants to play poker, but now they're waiting for you to finish your 20 triangle push-ups in the corner before you can say, I fold. No. You might have a part that yearns for romance. And you might think, oh my gosh, I need a romantic partner so badly. And then you and the boys are playing Magic the Gathering Commander 4-player game, and you get that beep in your pocket. Oh my gosh, someone wants to spend some time with me. And it's romantic, and I'm getting out of here. No, you can't. You got to stay. It's a 4-player game. No. I scoop. Have fun. Bye. What? Give that part its own time to play so you don't have to have it overlap and cause conflict. I can be electrified and I can feel terrible about wasting that energy. Or I can say, you know what? I tried one thing. I'm electrified right now. And let me tell you, if I get a gas bubble, which it doesn't feel like I'm going to, I'm putting this microphone up to my bottom and I'm letting it go. That's my exercise in trying to invite a different realm, a different level. Like Whitney Hewlin says, new levels, new devils. That dude who posted the reel about, I love my girlfriend, but I maybe like this guy. Yeah, he probably got a lot of hate, but the amount of hate and the amount of love you get are going to balance. Might not seem that way, but there is balance in the universe. I'm going through my journal asking it, what are my hottest takes? What have I said that is the most controversial? That's where we're at as a people. I have to dig for my most controversial takes to post so that I can get as much engagement as possible to drive up my views. But I don't want views like that. Views like that are worthless. I've been studying these social media people, these music people that have been making money on social media. And they said, one of them said, I posted this tip and said, this is the best way to mix this vocal or what have you. Views through the roof, million views, most viewed video, comments through the roof, 1,500 comments, most commented video, amount of money earned from the video, $0. You don't need that many followers. You need the right amount of followers. I must have one of the highest music earnings per amount of monthly listens and Instagram followers of anyone I know. I go around, I was a full-time artist living in Vancouver, paying my own rent, loved my parents. They supported me so much throughout my life. They weren't paying my rent. They weren't buying me food. I'd go there Sundays for dinner and I'd take home leftovers, a couple times a month. But I'm talking as an artist in Vancouver, I made a living with, at the time I had 2,000 followers, and I think I have 2 songs that have over 1,000 streams on Spotify across 30, and I have like 35 songs out right now. How can that be? Because it's not about the quantity of your followers, it's about the quality. You might find one person who says, hey, I can get you plugged in to the festival scene, then the festival circuit. Oh yeah, what's that like? Well, you apply here, you show this, you give me your rate. Okay. You could meet one person. If you go to one event, it could change your life entirely for the better. You could meet one person who you vibe with, and they could say, hey, there's this whole corner of the world that you haven't explored. You go, what do you mean? The internet has us so siloed, it's hard for us to even see what opportunities we might be missing. But if you meet somebody in the flesh, they see a spark in you, they might just open you up to their world. What a blessing. What an amazing thing that could be. If you throw an event, it's not going to be monetarily perfect. But the amount of connections that could be forged, the amount of magic that you could be responsible for, at least in major part. If you rented the room, if you had your people over, if you were something to do with 2 people meeting that created a connection that changed one of their lives, isn't that purposeful? You want to have purpose in your life, but are you willing to do any work? You gotta be willing to do a bit of work. And you think, oh, I can't do work. I have anxiety. I have issues. Oh my gosh, if somebody saw me fart on the internet, my head would explode. You don't have to be me in a red suit farting. You can just take one step ahead of where you are now. Oh, but I can't because, all right, all good. Then you can't. But remember, that's because you said you can't. Not because the universe stopped you, not because the world blocked you. You made that decision. My life has been laden with so many incredible characters, and I found so many of them at different organized events. So if there's that thing going on tonight and you've been to 50 of them, maybe you don't have to go. But if you've been to 0, it's like, wow, I met a few cool people at this thing. I met a few people who can open up my network and, of course, open up my net worth. When you grow up, kids, if you stay with enough friends, you might be able to get a job on the friend card alone. That's right. A lot of you might be thinking, oh, Timothy's dad runs Cravings Coffee and Tim's best friend is Eric, and Eric got the job at Cravings as a result of that. Still got the job. Nepotism, connections, it's everything. Daniel Priestley is a big business social media type who's also made a lot of actual money in business. Talks about how if you only have $100 to spend every month, we're talking in adult figures now, sorry if you're very young, take someone to lunch every week, every month. That's going to expand your earning possibilities by a lot. You take someone and they say, oh, where are you working now? Oh, I don't have a job right now. Well, have you ever tried coaching soccer? Oh, I don't know. I don't have my tickets. Well, you could just get this ticket. It takes 2 weeks, $700. Oh, that's not so bad. Yeah. And then I get you a job, making 20, 30, 40, 50 an hour. Oh, really? Yeah. Wow. That was the most fruitful hot and ready I ever bought. And you might be thinking, well, I'm a kid. I don't have any money. Find some. Get some. You got old stuff? Will your parents let you sell it? No? All right. Then don't. Find money in the couch. Sell some lemonade. There's a way to make money. Sorry. There is. If you're 13 or over, there's a way to make money. Make some money. Someone, take someone out to, dude, if some kid was like, hey, I really want to hear from you and I want to pick your brain, can we go get a coffee or something? I was like, you and your parent can absolutely take me for a cup of coffee and I will absolutely tell you everything I possibly can. Absolutely. It would set my heart ablaze. Think about if it happened to you. If someone was like, I value your input so much that I want you to tell me stuff. Oh my gosh. Of course you're going to be like, yeah, let's do it. And you also get a Slurpee for it? Come on. You're in grade 8, you see some kid in grade 12, and you're like, dude, how'd you do it, man? How'd you get so good at basketball? I don't know, whatever, kid. Bro, if I buy you a Slurpee, will you, show me how you got good at basketball? It's not even so much that you're paying for them. It's like, wow, you really have that fire that you're willing to do this. You know that it's not free to do this thing. A lot of people think that it's easy. A lot of people think, I remember when I first started with music, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to drop a song and I'm going to be a superstar right away. It doesn't work like that. You have to scratch and claw and beg people to come to your shows and beg people to listen and beg people to share. It's such a humbling experience, but at the same time, you have to be big. You have to be humble to come at them with hat in hand, but you have to be huge and say, this is going to change your life when you listen to my song. When you hear these unique rhymes and when you hear this energy coming through this very microphone. You have to, at the same time, tell them it's worth it, and at the same time say, please do me a favor. That's electricity. How can you show your electricity? How can you put yourself in the most conducive, or should I say conductive, area for your spirit? Me? Put me in a suit, put a mic in my hand, put a spotlight on me, and put some matcha in my veins, brother. And I will give you what I got. For you, it might be different. For you, it might be mellow. It might be meditation. It might be reading a book, and then inspiration comes to you, and you write it down, and maybe you post a beautiful poem. That's dope too. I'm not going to tell you that there's only one way to skin a cat. I'm not going to tell you there's only one way to peel a potato. And I'm not going to tell you that there's only one way to cook those chickpeas, brother. But you either cook them or you don't. You either cook them or you don't. Fear. So am I suddenly going to be unafraid? Why don't I try to talk to someone who isn't me? Take me out of it. Young person with fear, don't be afraid. Be brave. Even if you are afraid, that's a great opportunity for you to be brave. Let me tell you, you know how hard it is for me to get people to listen to my music? Even though I go from school to school to school to school, and I get people out of their chairs, unglued, screaming, look at each other. This guy's crazy. Coming up to me at the end of the show. What's that song called? Even with that level of backing, I still have to scratch and claw for every view. So if you put out a song, handful of people might hear it. But if you're not gassing it, it's probably just going to be one tiny stone down the cliffside. It's not that scary. It's not that deep. It's possible you go viral, but it takes more than one song to go viral, brother. So, gas it. Send it. Powis, having heard that, are you ready to abolish all your fears? You know what, Powis? I'm getting there, but it takes time. Which brings me to my next point. A lot of people want change right away. They think there's a miracle drug. Oh, if I read The Secret and I affirmate and I do a dance and I drink a water and I quantum leap, everything will be mine the next day. It's yours now. You have it all now. You have a beating heart in your chest. You have it. Oh, but I have anxiety. Oh, I have the... Yeah, you do. But you also have breath. There's ebbs and flows of this life. I know that there's people with mental conditions, medical conditions, physical conditions that inhibit them. Of course. And I'm not saying that's an excuse that you're a paraplegic. Get out of that chair and do some jumping jacks. I would never. I understand. But we all have our comfort zone, able-bodied, or differently abled, or otherwise. Can you step out of that comfort zone? That's what I want to see. I want to see you flounder. I want to see a bird fall out of the nest and go, oh, wait, am I doing it? Am I doing it? How bad do I want to see it? I want to see it so bad that I'm doing it myself. I'm out here every day doing this artwork. There's parts work, and then there's artwork. I've made so many songs and dropped them. I've made so many beats and dropped them. I've made a bunch and I haven't. But this being public facing is my real test. I can write rhymes. Of course I can write rhymes. I can come off the dome. I can write a themed song. I can write a jingle, for goodness sake. But can I be me in front of the world? That's the great question. And what's the fear? False evidence appearing real. Listen, in my last video, my video yesterday, I mentioned how my life is going so well that I'm having to take problems from the future because I don't have any right now. Everything's good, despite everything not being good, if you know what I mean. Sure, things might not all be perfect, but as they are, I get it, I understand them, and I accept them. And thus, they're perfect. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be a problem when I go back to work and I have to face this colleague. Because my life's so good right now, I have to futurize weeks ahead and say, this is going to be an issue, isn't it? Next thing I know, I hear that this person isn't going to be at work anymore. Well, there's another one of my false evidence appearing real is not happening. Because I can sit here and tell you, oh my gosh, I had that one experience, that one experience that I did a funny song and everybody said, do the funny song. And now I can say, I did it once. If someone came up to me, I'd maybe smack them. I'd maybe smack them and say, wake up. Because that was one. Count it one experience. You don't get to say, well, I did do that funny song one time in 2018. Sorry, what did you say? The year started with 201? We're about to be in the second half of the 20s, brother. You don't get to be whinging about stuff that happened 6 years ago anymore. Your delivery is going to be different. Your skills are different. Your consciousness is different. So much about this is different. Powis, come on, man. Unleash it. Let's see the funny side. Hey, funny man, tell us a joke. I guess I could tell a funny story. I've got some PG funny stories. Even I feel so uncomfortable now. You might even be able to feel it, but I just hate prefacing it with funny. I hate having to deal with the expectation. That's why when people say, oh, you do impressions, you do a good impression, do an impression. I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to. Not because I don't want to, but because I don't want to get a crappy reaction. Oh, Powis, do your Jovan impression. Then I do the impression. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's not so good. That's like an 80% chance. You do an impression and someone's going to be like, I don't know. For me, someone who's been renowned in the Lower Mainland for my impressions, I'll do an impression. When asked, I'll be concise. Here's why I won't do an impression on demand. Because someone asks for the impression, sure. Then I do it. And then they say, oh, that doesn't sound like that person. That's roughly 85% of the time. Whereas if it just comes up in random flow and someone's talking, and I'll be like, yeah, that sounds just like Greg. You know, he walks in, hi guys, how's it going? Everyone goes, that sounds so much like Greg. It's not because it sounds like Greg. It's because it was a joke that was told when no one expected it. So that's why I get in my feelings about doing stand-up comedy. Here I am standing up. I'm not, doing too much comedy here. But shoot, I'm standing up with a mic in front of my face for an hour, waxing riffing poetic, waffing ricks, riffing wax. And I tell a lot of jokes at my music shows and get a lot of laughs. But that's because, like my friend told me, a lot of comedy is about subverting expectations. The comedian starts telling something funny or telling a deep story, and then suddenly, excuse my mushroom, and then suddenly they tell a joke that you didn't expect, or a punchline that came from nowhere. It's like being a magician. Look at this hand, unaware that my toe is giving you a foot rub. Next thing you know, I've got one of your fake nails behind my ear. So when I start something with, here's a funny story, you have obviously experienced this. Maybe not you personally, but you must have seen. Someone ends a story with, you had to be there. Here's how to never end a story with, you had to be there. Start telling a story Find a window in the conversation. Okay, has everyone emptied their cup? Do I have time to tell a 90-second story? Because if it's over 5 minutes, it has to be one of the greatest stories of all time. If it's over 3 minutes, it has to be probably the best story I've heard this year. If it's a minute and a half, okay. Take your 5-minute story, compact it to a minute and a half, and rip it. So there's a gap. There's a minute and a half gap. Okay, here we go. Here's my story. And then Doug put his sock on me, and then I stood up, and I went to jump on the trampoline, and I slipped because I put the grip on the top of the sock and not the bottom, and I hit my face. Funny. Done. Call it. Zip. Drop the keys instead of like, hey guys, I have a funny story. You got to hear this. You got to hear this. Great. Pressure's on now. So I'm at the trampoline park and, trampoline story. Bet it ends with him hitting his face. Well, all right. Yeah, that's the ending. Anyway, so have you seen Terminator 2? Have you seen Gladiator 2? Have you seen... Grinds my gears. So to walk on stage, I mean, dude, I was watching my buddy at an open mic, and I think I could be an open mic stand-up comic, all due respect, just on stories alone. Because this is explicit. You could tell whatever you want up there. This isn't a YouTube where I've got, Benny the Magician in the comments saying W Powers podcast, some dude that I guess I saw him at a school, I'm not like Nicki Minaj, like, I never asked to be a role model. I'm down to be a role model. Doesn't mean I have to be completely G-rated the entire time. But, yeah, I'm down to be a role model. So I don't need to come out here and tell my most explicit stories. But what would it be like to try to be funny? To try to be funny? Eep. That's the thing. Everyone's a big dog in their friend group. Everyone's hilarious at the back of class. Bro, you're not that funny. You're just riding on the back of church giggles. You're making someone laugh in a room where we're not allowed to laugh. That's the easiest laugh you could get. You whisper someone to your buddy, and like, what? At the back of class when buddy's giving a lecture? Of course I'm going to howl. But then it's everybody sit down. Okay, now it's time for me to be funny. I was walking through Hastings the other day and started to smell funny. Anybody notice that? Oh, looks like I'm getting the light. Thanks, guys. The light is a stand-up term for I'm done. I watched a bunch of pro wrestling promos before I came on here. I love a pro wrestling promo, a great one. Because I can have all the fire, but it has to have a direction. Something about one of these laws of thermodynamics is when all the energy is spread and divided, it becomes useless. So I can have all this fire and say, I'm talking about this, I'm talking about that. But what's the laser point? What am I trying to get you to do? And these pro wrestlers, they want you to buy the pay-per-view. They want you to tune in. They want you to care so much about their match that you cheer so loud that the people in charge have to put them on the show. Wrestling's fake. It's one of the most real competitions you can find and one of the longest running ones. People could be on Survivor for a season, but our boy Cody Rhodes has been in the game 17 years. Our boy Bobby Lashley been in the game 23 years. Hasn't aged a day in 2.3 decades. So what's my promo to get you into the building? I got a song coming out. It's called These Days. I mixed it, mastered it. Maybe I should drop some ad-libs on it. Sometimes you listen to a song too many times and think, I've had enough. But even so, the mantra in this chorus, treat myself nice these days, buy a new toy that I like these days. Sometimes you got to get rid of stuff. I'm getting rid of stuff now. I got a garbage bag. I don't think you could see it. There's garbage everywhere. But I'm treating myself nice. Just because I'm getting rid of stuff and just because I bought a lot of things that I shouldn't have, a lot of toys that I didn't need, an iMac 27-inch that I've used literally, I would say I'd be surprised if I've used it 20 times in 3 years. So yeah, I'm going to pack that up and give it away and see what makes my heart flutter now. Maybe that makes more space for me to buy something nice. I deserve nice things, and so do you. I'm done trying to block myself. I'm done saying, oh, my life's bad and I'm done identifying with being down bad. I've probably said it. You may have heard me say it before, but I was P. Crook before because my teeth are so janky. And I learned to love my smile at the end, but through a cosmic domino falling of my brother getting braces, my elder brother getting braces, and my union benefits coming in at the right time, I thought, screw it, let's do it. 7 months, couple grand, ended up costing way more than I thought and being a lot more than I realized because, of course, they had to do a lot of stuff to move these chompers around. But it was good because me getting braces released so much of that misfortune I was hanging on to. I loved having crooked teeth because I could walk through life and say, my parents did a lot for me actually, but they never got me braces. Your parents got you braces. They loved you. My parents loved me so much. And I almost needed to get those braces to forgive them as well. A lot of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, your parents stayed together and you have to forgive them? Soft. I don't care what you think. I care what I think. And I think I've done a pretty damn good job at mitigating my relationship with my parents that was symbolized through my teeth. I identified so much with pain and strife. I have a mixed racial identity. Logic, are you in here? I'm mixed. My mom's black and my dad's white. So you may have heard this from anybody who's mixed, and some people that are fully racially defined. It's like, a coconut could be brown on the outside, white on the inside. Someone whose parents came from India, maybe they came to Canada, they raised their kids in Canada. The kids don't have too much of their Indian culture left. They speak like a Canadian. They don't speak like they have English as their second language. And they could be fully racially identified as Indian and still have this, which one am I? And I could be this very light-skinned Afro-having half-black man and still have identity issues. There were times that I actually enjoyed being racially abused because it acknowledged my blackness. Hurts to say, even hurts to admit. Racism has hurt so many people and systematically led to so many arrests, and more covertly has led to people subtly getting passed over for promotions or even tryouts in sports. Yes, that's a thing. Getting disciplined more ruthlessly for an equal crime in a classroom. I don't mean, out in the streets. And here I was, someone drops the N-bomb on me. Yeah, it feels bad, especially when it's a close friend. But also like, oh shit, like now I can say that like I was racially abused too. Like all these black people, can I fit in now? That was brave to say. That was brave. And like I've said in the past, if you want to be a person of influence, you have to stand on business in a way. You can't just be out here saying, you should be brave, you should be this, you should be that. You got to be it too. So yeah, I'm brave, saying sometimes I enjoyed racist abuse. A lot of times I hated it. A lot of times it was brutal. I have such a different, everybody's experience is different, but my experience from, let's say, a dark-skinned person, be they black or indigenous or Indian even, is a lot different. I've been very supported and loved throughout my life, and a lot of people that have been racially marginalized, pushed out to the perimeter because of their racial presentation. I can't feel that that's happened to me too many times relatively to my friends that are darker. I think that's brave to say too. Why? Because I'm talking for someone else. I do have a deep understanding of these matters, but still, it's brave. Damn it. I'm feeling brave. I'm feeling brave. I remember one time I was coaching this soccer team, and I was telling everybody about how trauma is stored in your tissues, in your flesh itself. And how a friend of mine once was rolling out with a lacrosse ball on his psoas muscle, and he got a flashback to a time that his parents were fighting, and his mom stormed out of the house crying, slammed the door. Completely repressed memory. I was like, damn, I never heard that story. I thought I got all the tea from this person's household. Turns out I didn't. Maybe because it wasn't even in their mind. And I'm telling this group of 17 or 18-year-old girls that I'm coaching, this guy had like all this trauma in his hips. His hips were really tight, and he rolled it out, and he may have like released some trauma. And they're all bouncing, thinking like, Powis, my hips are really tight, but I don't have any trauma. I don't think it quite works that way. I loved yoga. I did a yoga class at Douglas College. And the instructor, that was a powerful place of responsibility that she had. And she was so centered and spiritually beautiful, physically beautiful. And that definitely influenced my love of yoga. It was incredible. I loved the classes. I loved the exercise. At the end, I had never felt more grounded. My friends and I were just like chilling at the table after yoga, and we're just like, we feel good, man. Like totally zenned out. And then a dude took over the class. And it's not like, where's the hot chick at the front of the class, bro? Doing these poses, man. But this guy was like, now do your cat cow and then release and go, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Or sorry, what the heck? I'm not trying to do this. And he come up to you and touch you a bit, and it's like, Erica wasn't touching us like this. And we stopped going to yoga. A lot of people think they need to have such glittery lives in order to make an impact in someone's life. Let me tell you something that All Might should have told you already. You can be a hero. Does it look like I'm lying? Does it look like I'm kidding? Does it look like it's for clout? Zoom in on the eyes. You can be a hero. This isn't any Mel Robbins, I love you. I love you. You're my best friend. We're together forever. I love you. You can make an impact in anyone's life around you pretty quickly. Khalil Gibran is a great author, wrote a book called The Prophet. In The Prophet, it's a series of essays. One of them is about work, and he says, your work is your love made visible. I could tell you, I love you so much. You're my best friend. We're going to be together forever. Oh my gosh, we're besties. Oh my gosh, I love you. Or you could say, hey, Powis, I'm trying to make a song and I don't know what to do. And I could say, you know what? Let's rip one. Let me show you how to make this song. What do you think about doing this? What do you think about doing that? That's how you show love. Someone could say at your school, like, dude, I love you. I'd have your back 100%. And then when it comes time, do they or don't they? You might have to learn some lessons the hard way. Sometimes it feels like this person would have my back no matter what. Anybody can have your back when the going's good. But when the going gets tough, that's when you can see the true value of a friend. Do they back you up when you're wrong? Sure, they could tell you, bro, that's not right, and I need you to switch up and change this behavior, but do they back you? Do they support you? Are they there to pick you up, pick up the pieces, or not? I used to play on a men's league soccer team, decently high level, but we would get crushed every week. And I'd be saying to the guys at the other team at the end of the game, good game, good game, good game, good game. And I'd talk to my dad in the car and say, hey, at least they were polite. My dad said, everyone's polite when they've just won 5-0. And it's funny, you'd play that same team and it would be 2-2. Suddenly it's not so many good games. Suddenly it's not so much sweetness. Suddenly there's a lot of venom in the game. Because that is what defines a person, not the 5-0s. So yeah, when your parents just gave you $30 and you're going to 7-Eleven, you're treating the boys to a Slurpee, you're everybody's friend. But what happens when that dries up? When maybe you need 50 cents to complete the Slurpee of the day? They gonna back you then? Maybe you're super funny and you're throwing events and everyone's your best friend. Oh my God, this guy's hilarious. Dope. But what about when something bad happens and you just need someone to listen to you cry? Are they gonna be there for you? Why are we deflecting? You want to be a great friend? Be there for someone when the going gets tough. When it's tough, show up for them. Don't just be a celebrity friend. Oh, snap, you got a car? Let's go for a rip. Be there for the flat tire as well. Trust me, it'll come back to you. Me? Oh my gosh, here he is again, Mr. Virtue. You should be this for your friends. Absolutely. Mr. Virtue. And I'll tell you why. It's because it serves me. I'm virtuous and I'm kind and I'm giving because it serves me. The more I give to people, the more I give to strangers, and the more I give to loved ones, the more I get. And I love to get. One time, I was riding high after a music performance, and there was a 24-hour grocery store on Commercial Drive. I go to the grocery store, and there's a homeless guy out front, and I'm just bouncing. I've just had an amazing show. I feel electric, and I say to the guy, "What do you need, bro?" He says, "Some Fruit Loops and some milk." Sure. Go in there, get myself what I wanted, and Fruit Loops were $6.99 and Cheerios were $3.99, so I got him Cheerios. I'm just kidding. I got Fruit Loops. Got him some Fruit Loops, got him some milk, got him a spoon. Took it out there, said, "Here you go, bud." He's like, "Thank you." Doesn't acknowledge it much. I don't care. I'm not trying to give it to him to get my little ego fed right there. And I'm not trying to get him to say, "Hey, I really appreciate that, bro. Hey, I made this carving and I want you to have it." No. That's not the exchange. The exchange is with me and the universe. I give that guy his stuff. I skip home. Nice walk home. I wake up the next morning. I say, good day for a run. And I go for a run. On this run, I take a route I'd rarely take. Pounding the pavement on this route, looking around. Hey, how cute is this? Look down. What's that red piece of paper on the ground? And it's a Canadian $50 bill. 50, bro. crisp, fresh, looked like it flew out of a car window. I pick it up, look behind me, no one's there, look ahead, look left, look right. This 50's mine. That's the game I play. Some of you might think, I'm not in a position to give. I don't have any money. I don't have any time. Winners don't make excuses. Find a way to support someone. Maybe you don't have money. Can you lend an ear? Can you listen to their problems for 5 minutes while you do the dishes? 5 minutes is a bit better than nothing. One time I was... See, now I'm feeling resistance because I'm like, oh, do I want to tell this story? But that's when we have a chance to be brave. Can a man be brave if he's afraid? That's the only time a man can be brave. So let me be brave. One time I was outside Britannia Secondary, and I'd done some school programs there. I'd done some Songcraft Academy there, which is where I teach kids how to make music using BandLab. I'm around the hood, and I see this homeless dude, and he says, hey, man, hey, can you buy me a Coke, bro? I said, yeah, sure. I had nothing to do. Bought the dude a Coke. Gave him the Coke. He said, thanks. Bro, do you have $5? I just want to get some chicken. Open my wallet. I don't think I have any. Got a $10 bill in there. All right. Here you go, bro. Give him a 10. He goes, God bless you, man. God bless you. Yeah, of course. He goes, hey, you work around here, right? Whoa, what? Yeah, I know that you do some stuff at Britannia. That's really important work you're doing. I was like, was this a test? Never saw the dude again. But I have to think that it helped my energetic karmic clout in that geographic area. Does that make me a bad person? Am I a bad person if I do good deeds to get things back? I don't think so. It sets my heart ablaze to give things away, to see the smile on someone's face. And I also like when someone gives me something because I get to give back. Sometimes getting is giving back. Because who am I to deny someone the beautiful moment of giving? Oh no, please keep it. Oh no, don't buy my drink. Oh no. Dude, yes. You want to do a good job? You want to do a good deed? I will absolutely be your vessel. I'm not going to deny you the chance. Do a good deed. For me. What else is there to say? An hour and 13 minutes in. I love having different ways to measure where I'm at mentally. Sports measures where I'm at physically and mentally. How calm am I when I'm on a breakaway? Get the ball. You're all alone, Powis. Different times in my life, I would have done different shots. This past weekend, I took a breath, exhaled, Pavlyuchenko, bottom left, finish, sambas. Yikso. Someone in my life tries to test me. I was at soccer the other day, coaching, and one of the players comes up to me and says, hey, Powis, not everyone appreciates you. Wasn't ready for that. But you take it in stride and you go, you know what? That's how the game goes. These are the licks that we take on the way to giving our power to the younger generation. I've done so much work to get better at soccer. I've done so much work to get mentally better, to make better music. Why would I not give it back now? And I know what you're thinking. Is this the guy who likes to give so he can get? But I like to give too, don't I? Don't I? Chalk it up to however you want. Cut this up however you want. At the end of the day, when someone sees me in the flesh, they're going to look into my eyes and think, this guy gives and expects nothing. And why am I able to do that? Because of all my practices. I'm able to give and not worry about what I get back because of my songs. Because of a song like These Days. It's a good day when I wake up, do my morning stuff, then link with my day ones, making memories, making beats like A+, and stay rising like the numbers on the pay stubs. I've been getting paid more. That's how it works when you're an adult and you're building towards something. You get paid more and more. I've been getting more memories. That's how it works as an adult. When you actually do things with your friends, when you actually go out and share the same physical space. Hey, it can work online too. But you rack up those moments. And would I be reflecting on this if I hadn't written a song about it? You bet your bottom dollar I would not. And that's why my music's important. And if it's this important to me, it can be that important to you. I'm not Mel Robbinsing and looking at you in the eyes and saying, I love you and you'll love my song and da-da-da. But if you want to listen to something that's going to make you a little bit more happy about your current state of life, listen to These Days by Powis HJ. I got so many songs. What else is coming out? It Used to Be Enough. It's a song I wrote about how back in the day, a small amount of stimulation could get us over the line. We would play a game, my brothers and I would play a game called Alien Hot Shots, which was essentially War, the card game, who has the higher number, and we would rip this for hours. It was so fun. Now we're playing Marvel Rivals, playing Call of Duty, and yeah, it lasts for a while, the sensation, and then we got to switch it up. What has happened? It used to be enough to have a beat and some homies hear your stuff. Crass freestyles about life and love. Get a surprise rhyme and watch eyes light up. Damn, have you ever been in that space? Have you ever heard somebody freestyle, catch the Holy Ghost, catch magic, and present it to the group? And have the whole group go, oh! If you haven't, I hope you find it. Or I hope there's the equivalent in whatever fields you're interested in. I love my music because it reminds me how dope I am, and I hope you have something that does that too. I hope you can do a drawing and remind yourself that I'm able to create something that's beautiful. Because if you don't create anything beautiful, you start to forget about your power. And your power itself might atrophy. Your power itself might diminish. It might weaken. But if you sharpen that pencil, if you sharpen that blade, then your microphone, your blade, whatever tool you use is going to bring you a chance to show everyone your power. Show me your power. I want to see it so badly. I want you to refine it so badly, and I want you to use it for good. The lowest good is doing good to have good come to you, because it will. The highest good is to do good and expect nothing, and I do both. So I'm real special. And why do I feel I'm real special? Because I listen to my own songs that remind me exactly why. I've spoken a ton about crying going from school to school. And crying to me is deeply important. That's how I've always managed my emotions and let them flow. Your emotion might be, or there might be a different method for you to alleviate pressure. Crying has been the way that I have let my emotions process. For you, it might be something different. But whatever it is, do it. If it's exercise, if it's rage, if it's screaming, give yourself a chance to move through your emotions so you don't snap. Let the prisoner out every once in a while so they don't get so stir crazy. And someone asks you to pass some mashed potatoes. Next thing you know, you're picking up the bowl and yeeting it against the wall. Shatters everywhere because you didn't do any push-ups. I want to say one more thing about These Days before I leave you at an hour 20. This act of promoting these days in this way is a spiritual practice. Not apologizing for spamming, not apologizing for asking every day, well, I asked the universe, hey universe, make me a billionaire. Didn't happen yet, doesn't exist. I'll ask twice, hey universe, make me a billionaire. I asked twice, it didn't work. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Grow up. Think about your favorite high-level person. You think Cristiano can go to the pitch and practice really hard one day and then he gets the call to Manchester United? Or do you think he had to dribble to school every single day of his young life? Which one do you think it was? Even after becoming an established star, do you think that a professional soccer player, a pro footballer, can just chill and rest on their laurels? Absolutely not, because there's always someone else coming for your spot. Every day you have to earn your spot. Roman Reigns, have you seen his body? Unbelievable. And he's Samoan too. Those guys pack on a lot of extra puff. And that guy's chiseled. You think he's looked at a carb in the last 2 years? You think he's thought about sugar in the last 10 years? That man eats chicken and broccoli for nearly every meal, despite being a multi-millionaire. Are you ready to do that commitment? And you think you can just look up to the heavens and say, hey, God, I sent you a DM. Can you send me a bill? Are you kidding me? You have to earn it every day. And I'm trying to earn it every day. I'm not trying. I'm earning it every day by putting this song in people's faces. Trying to do something different than just releasing my songs in the forest with nobody hearing it. Because I'm committed. I'm not just committed to my art. I'm not just committed to my character, but I'm committed to allowing my soul to open up and be allowed to be seen. Thank you guys for listening.